film. I'm what? What? You look so disgusting right now. Oh, let's see how you're acting.
Did she say she was gonna go tell her dad?
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and go ahead and start about this. Welcome to the unpopular opinion of the ATS, and I am Mr. Stradivari and Miss D,
Hi, how y'all doing?
and I have Miss Felicia,
Hello there, everybody. Hi.
I have Miss Marcella,
Hey, everybody.
and my wonderful Miss Michelle.
Hey, everybody.
Today we're just going to do a small little topics on how do you parent your children in today's society. And in today's society, what you saw, the first thing that you saw was a parent taking a video of her child and how her child acted out in the car for not getting something, for not getting just a stick of gum at this point in time. And the child just went off on a tantrum, started picking spots on the car, on the back of the seat to spit on. And what is your paralysis on parenting, Miss Felicia? I want to ask you first because I know that you are definitely working with children and a parent yourself. So I really want to know your expertise on when it comes to out of character children.
Yeah, speaking of, the screaming you hear in the background is the kids in my daycare right now. So um I have to be honest with you. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly in childcare as it relates to children. And I think a lot of times we don't understand as parents that we do our kids more harm than good. Oftentimes when we don't use the discipline factors, I'm not one to tell anybody how to discipline their children because that's a sensitive topic for most parents, right? So you have to be very careful. And especially working in the profession, I totally understand that 95% of parents have that not my child mentality. And so there are ways by which you can convey to the parent, hey, there's possibly something wrong with little Johnny without saying, hey, there's something wrong with little Johnny. Right. So my take on it is that, there is a reality. We have to discipline our children, lest they grow up and become undisciplined products in society and in communities. But I also think that there is a way that we should do it. Now, there's totally different methods by which we can discipline our children without it being abusive. I know we joke about it on a couple of our shows. We've all said that we were beaten growing up. I don't support that today, by no means. There's no reason to beat a child to get his attention. But there are factors by which we should use to discipline our children, and that's just a reality.
Okay, what about you, Miss Michelle, on your take on this child with how her actions were and how her parents responded to that action? What do you think about that, of the spitting? And
Oh, she spit at her mama?
she spit all over the place. She was spitting everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Now, that commenced for a butt whooping. Now, let me hear me out. I have learned not to whoop them for everything. Okay? I had to be taught and shown. Sometimes you just need to talk to them. Sometimes talking to them works. Okay? I'm only going to talk to you one time. Because if you continue doing it after I've told you, and you got to do it one more time for me to come back to tear that butt up. I'm just sorry. Okay? If I sit down and talk to you and show you how it's wrong, don't do it again, then don't do it. But that spitting, that fighting, that laying of hands, that falling out on the ground and all that stuff, that calls for butt whooping. The other small little stuff, you talk to them. But I'm sorry. I still believe in the rod, like the Bible says. And I got my butt beat. And I am who I am today. A prominent Black-owned business woman, full degree. You see what I'm saying? The chastisement got me to where I am now. I know what to do and what not to do. Still in the learning process. So whooping a child, yeah, especially if she spit on me, baby, I would have pulled that car to the side. I don't care where I'm at. Pull the car to the side, pull her in the safe position, turn her over, and smack that tail right then and there. I don't care who watching. As long as I'm hitting the butt, I'm within the law. Thank you very much.
What about you, Mr. Molly?
Well, first of all, the number one issue for me was that this was even recorded in the first place.
Okay.
Disciplining your child does not equal embarrassment. Disciplining your child does not equal stifling their curiosity. Disciplining your child does not equal silencing their voice. Disciplining a child should not mean punishing them for natural curiosity and accidents that happen. If a child spills milk, why are they getting beat? And Michelle, I applaud you for saying that you have had to learn to not spank your child for everything, because I think it's a shame that many times, especially in our community, it's really an ego-driven process. Your child's not listening to what you're commanding, so you feel like they deserve a beating because they're not listening to your commands. And a lot of times we haven't even given the child a voice to express what they feel and what they want. And it's just like, shut up and do what I told you to do. Shut up and do what I say. You have no voice. You have no rights. You do as I told you to do. And that's how it is in the Black home a lot of times. I love to see it when parents give a child a chance to express those big emotions they're dealing with. You have to realize that when you're dealing with a 3, 4, 5-year-old, first of all, I don't think the brain that develops self-control even starts developing until about 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Okay.
So we're beating kids for not having self-control when their brain isn't even developed in that area yet, right?
Okay.
Well, we haven't really learned the techniques of redirecting and communicating dangers and risks. It's don't do that many times. So I hate to see it. And I am actually making a very conscious effort to transition from, over criticism, yelling when they're not doing what I'm supposed to do, to more communication and really hearing where they are in that moment. Because what I've discovered is a lot of times when I'm mad at them for doing something, when I've started to take the time to really hear them out, it was simple curiosity. Well, mommy, I was just wondering. Well, I was curious. It's not really them just wanting to go and pour out a whole bottle of my $50 face cream. It's curiosity. So I don't believe in what was happening in that video. Now, if you have a child that's having a tantrum, there are techniques that you can use to address those tantrums. Recording is not the one that I would say. You know what I mean? I can't record my child having a tantrum and put it out on the internet, because it's a natural reaction when a child is experiencing big emotions. And we have to realize, be in that child's shoes. You're a 5-year-old, you want something and you don't know how to handle the emotions of not getting what you want. Well, think about us as adults. You wanted that man, you wanted that job. How do our emotions react when we don't get what we want? We've learned to deal with that over time. And some of us haven't even learned to deal with that. Some of us still throw tantrums as adults. So to hold a child accountable for something that they can't even control with their brain development stage at this point. That's my beef with all this.
Okay, Marcella, what you think about that?
Oh, yeah, I'm fired up about that. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my goodness, this child is going berserk. What is going on? I felt like, a lot of parents I don't understand the purpose of her even filming that. I feel that the child should have its moment to be where it is. It's perfectly normal for children to have meltdowns like that. I'm on the fence. I feel that sometimes maybe if a parent is overworked, we don't know, her mom could have came off a shift, taking her home, got to deal with her. The inclination may be for some people to immediately go start beating them little legs and butts down, to make that stop. But the deeper issue is, how do you condition your child to address, I would say, stress? The kid is obviously stressed out, Do you in turn display a behavior that's not healthy for that? So for me personally, everybody has different children. They know their children. They know what works, what don't work. So, they should continue to do whatever they see fit. But for me, I probably personally would have pulled over, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Out of this baby, looked like it might have been what, 3 or 4, 4 or 5.
She looked 4 or 5.
Okay, talk to her. Get the clean wipes out the back, and she got to clean up her mess right then and there. Because that lesson for me tells her that, you do something, you got to fix it. And then, if I'd already taught her about, the importance of courtesies, I would make her apologize, clean up her mess, apologize, and let's get back and go on about our way. And if she continued to act like that, we'd go home and I would have to redirect her behavior, either by putting her on punishment, timeout, or something that works. Now, if a child cannot be redirected intellectually, because we don't know whether or not the child has um, any special needs. I was trying to come up with the right word.
Okay, like an
Special
IEP or
needs. So
something.
if the child has special needs and it requires a different type of understanding, I didn't like seeing her spit. I didn't like seeing her going off. Her mother obviously was trying to get some clout on, in my opinion, on social media at the expense of her child. That's my take on it.
Now wait a minute, lady. See, my problem is these y'all black women. Y'all not gonna let your
Who said
kids
that
start
stereotype?
spitting. You're
Who
not. And
said
Miss
that
Felicia,
stereotype?
you're not. You're not gonna let your son start spitting and let that thing walk by and give him a talk to. You're not gonna do that. It's not gonna happen. I'm looking at y'all dead in y'all face. I know you're not gonna sit up there and let your child start
It's a
spitting
gender
like
thing.
that. It's not gonna happen. I don't care about the trigger. I don't care
You're
about
at,
anything.
you
It's
are
not going
absolutely
to
right.
happen. They're not even going to pull the Lord. You know how the lips start forming to even start spitting. You're not going to let that go down, and I know y'all won't let that
I'm
go
not,
down.
but
Michelle looked
I'm
like
not
she
gonna
gonna
beat my
smack
child for
from
it though.
afar, but I know you're not going to let Felicia. You can't tell me you're going to let him because you're not going to let it. You're not
I
going to
can't
let it
hear
even
you,
go
y'all.
down.
I really okay. I hear you, but okay. So let me address what you said as a black woman, because I think that that's where you are stereotyping us. You know,
I didn't even
one of
say
the
you was going to hit
major.
him, but I
Let me
just say
finish.
you're not going to let it. It's not going to fester the way that lady worked it. She had her
Okay,
camera out. She didn't even stop to give that joint. You wouldn't have gave that joint no energy that the child was trying to give you like
so
that.
can I finish?
Go
Can I
ahead.
finish? Thank you. You basically what you just did was stereotyped us as African American women, and I think all of us with children have responded to the fact that we all are making conscious efforts to do differently when it comes to parenting our children today. Not that what our parents did back then worked or didn't work, whether it was good or bad. We're still alive. We're here. I'm a much better product today because of my upbringings.
Okay.
However, there are just certain things that I didn't do with my children that my mom did with me as it related to discipline. I'm not going to beat my children with an extension cord. I'm not going to do certain types of discipline that I was brought up on. And so and I still haven't seen the video, so I can't really talk too much to that, but just listening to you convey how the scene went, I agree with Marcella in one sense that some of that might have just been publicity, because we all know that there are ways by which we handle our discipline factor. And one thing that we are conscious of as women, whether we black, blue, green, or yellow, is how we discipline our children in public. Now, I'm an educator. I am licensed with the director's degree. I can't hit a kid in public. So I'm very sensitive and cognizant of that. But I will get on his level, especially my son, Cameron. I will get on his level. I will sit down. I will talk to him, and I will make sure that he know and understand that what he just did was not okay. Now, I'm not going to beat him. I'm really not. I mean, that's just my method of parenting today, that I'm not out to beat my kid to get his attention. I didn't do that with my girls when they were growing up. I got grandbabies, and I'm sure not doing it with them. But I think it just comes to a point that we all know the right and wrongs of discipline today, and we're trying to do better as mothers. We're trying to do better as women as it relates to how we raise our children. I appreciate what Damali said. We have to let our kids speak. We have to hear them. I say this all the time on this show. We have to hear each other. We have to allow each other to speak and then hear, instead of trying to respond to what is being said. Our kids a lot of times are speaking out. They're crying out. They're trying to get your attention. When they're acting out like that, there's a reason behind that. And if we just can consistently beat, We don't ever find out what's going on with them. Guess what? They're going to act out, act out, act out. So it's just the parenting today. That falls back on us and not the child.
Me personally, we not going nowhere. You acting like that. We not going nowhere. We not going nowhere. You're not going anywhere. You're gonna be standing right here. Oh, you want to go somewhere? No, we're not going anywhere. I can't take that out the house. I couldn't even take that in a car ride with me and you spitting all over the place. I wouldn't take that out the house. That's something I'm addressing to this because the simple fact, parenting and knowing how the child is acting, how is this going to facilitate in a school setting would be monstrous. Like they're going to have their own enclosure room. How are they going to even be with other kids? How are they even going to interact with other people if they can't even interact with their family adult life? Like if you love your mother so much, you're going to be spitting and screaming and crying just to get a piece of gum. It has to be a lot more discipline at home on that. And me personally, I slap the parent on the wrist for not being a very good parent or understanding how to communicate with your own child. Like this is something that is going to be detrimental as a high school, middle school, elementary school teacher that I've seen these different behaviors. And I know how to handle these behaviors by not letting you touch my instruments. No, you can't play no instruments acting like that. Or no, you can't. You can't stand and dance with everybody else because technically you're not even going to get up and dance. You're going to get up and cause ruckus. It has to be a different phase of. I know she should have stopped the car personally. I know she should have stopped everything that she's doing just to focus on what was happening. Instead, she wanted to be a millionaire and try to make millions of dollars on people saying, lady, I don't know what the world you are doing with this child, but it's totally not the right one. So I just want to feel as though, as parents, ladies, you got to give me your truth on how you would discipline your children because you're raising them much better than what I saw on the video. So you can't tell me that you didn't have some type of problem. The kid may not have been spitting, but I'm guarantee you they pushed you to the limit where you had to stop and think for yourself before you actually perform some bodily harm is what I'm saying. You really had to stop yourself first. Oh, let me stop myself before I hurt my own child. But you had to really give yourself a conscious thought of what to do. And I'm asking you, I want your personal, really honest, God, truth opinion on what should you have done if your child started spitting in the car because they couldn't get what they want. What is the truthful way? Don't give me the generic version. Give me the real mommy version of what would have done in this situation. I'm not asking you to incriminate yourself on saying you would spank them, but I'm guarantee you're going to stop everything you're doing, and you're not going to drive all the way home and put her to bed, is what the lady was saying. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Because if a kid started acting out in my classroom, I have like this little box tape. If you move off this box, you won't be getting an instrument for this week, next week, and I won't even give you any energy. Like I will talk past you. You will talk to me, and I'll be talking to somebody else on purpose. Like, yeah, okay, because you have to have a different demeanor. So you guys have to give me your real, honest to God opinion of what you would have done in this situation. And Miss Michelle, what would you have done in this situation if your child started spitting because you didn't give them? It doesn't matter what it was, and they just started kirking out, just started throwing out, having this temper tantrum, kicking the back of the chair, spitting everywhere. Like, what would you have really done?
I will agree with Molly. I wouldn't have recorded. I agree with Marcella. I would have pulled over, and honestly, the first reaction of any mom, we ready to tackle that. Seriously. I don't care what anybody say. You ready to grab and snatch somebody. But I appreciate y'all say sometimes we gotta stop and be like, ooh, I'm about to hurt this child. Okay. Woosah. I've done that many times with my sons. So what I would have done, yes, I would have pulled up. I don't care where I was at. If I was on the freeway, I would have exited. Pulled up in the gas station, and I agree with Marcella. After I beat her tail, then she would have cleaned up her mess. Yes, that is what would have happened. And then we wouldn't have left that place until she calmed down, and then I would talk to her. So in this case, I would have went opposite. Whoop your tail, clean up your mess, then talk to her and let her know the reason why I whooped her tail versus talk to him first and give him another chance. That was one of those, there's no need for talking. I don't teach you to spit on people. You see what I'm saying? You know, she could have did anything, kicking her feet, kick the door, and kick the handle, and we driving or going somewhere, and the door open. I mean, happenstance. It shouldn't have, but still, she could have hurt herself. Whatever the case may be, pulled the car over, snatched her, look her in her face, and commenced to whooping that tail, and then made her clean up her mess, and make sure she calmed down before we proceed. I ain't going no further. That's uncalled for. I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Oh well. Because by the time we get home, she would have been apologizing. Like my sons do sometimes.
What about you, Marcelo, on this action?
Well, I can tell you, I know back in the day, if I had did this in the car, I would have caught a beat down right then and there. It was a different era. You know, I look at my grandmother, who was a factory worker. They made call where she worked at in the factory, a sweatshop. But I do remember that she actually owned her own home. She purchased it. She paid for it. So I learned in that instance that, and I'm gonna get back to this, that it doesn't matter where you are in your station in life. And it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's what you do with it.
Okay.
She, you know, she was from the generation, the greatest generation that ever lived. Let the world tell it. The generation that survived World War I, World War II, and World War II primarily, and also the generation that survived the Depression. So she had a different mindset. And in that time, children were to be seen, not heard. We were to be disciplined. We didn't have no rights as kids. No say so. You know, you ate what was on the table. And if you got out of line, they got you right back in line. It was a different time.
Okay.
My mom didn't. My mom specialized in child psychology. She didn't beat me a lot. I kind of feel that I probably should got more beatings with some of the stuff that I did. However, she believed in talking through analysis, reasoning, and everything. And I guess with the type of children that she had, she could do that because, you know, I have a twin. So we have kind of like similar. Well, I'm the bad cop, basically. You know, we kind of have similar temperaments. So my point is, the different eras require different things. I know that they created laws you can't beat the crap out of your kids out in the street, but I remember growing up, and I was just telling a friend of mine, it was a guy whose father came up to the school and beat him down in the classroom all the way home on the street. We were afraid as children watching, right? And I can only imagine the humiliation that he felt. Now, he was getting bad grades, acting up in school. I'm assuming that it was more conversation that happened before then. And I'm pretty sure he was really quiet after that for a while. That was traumatizing. We were quiet too. We were scared of his dad. But his dad did what he felt he needed to do to redirect his son for whatever reason. And like I said before, as a young girl and even as a woman now, I'm not getting involved in, you know, men raising other men, raising them up to be men. Boy child, I think they call them men children in Jamaica, man child. So you ask me, would I beat my child down? The answer is, for me, no, it's not necessary.
So I'm asking what you would have done in that situation.
Absolutely. I'm saying, no, I wouldn't have turned, like my mom might have turned around and started, you know, swinging in the back. Okay, all moms do that. I probably would have started doing something like that. But in no way, shape, or form would I have beat the child down terribly. I think in that instance, you know, the children get what we pour into them. And so for me, it's important, especially in this type of world that we're raising our children in, not to meet violence with violence, because you don't always win. And it takes a strong mind to be able to walk away if they can. Now, protect yourself by all means. But I want to impart in my children the understanding that violence isn't the first go-to. So my first go-to, again, yeah, I might reach in the back like this, you know. Like I said, you spitting, you know. Sometimes they may throw a stuffed animal or something at you, but there's a difference between throwing. You get your hands, like my grandma would get her hands on the shoe, and we just learn how to duck pretty much. That's what we got with. But in the car, there's a difference between getting your hands on some coffee and throwing it in the child's face, and putting your
Lord.
hands maybe on the teddy bear, something to say, hey, stop, break them out of that pattern. Now that's a difference. Might have did something like that to break them out of that moment because she obviously was in some level of distress. But I would have pulled the Carl aside because one, she needs to know that there is a consequence to her action.
Okay.
And she's young. She looks like she's about 4 to 6, as we've determined. So, like her full brain, amygdala and all them other good parts of the brain haven't fully developed. So I have to give her that level of understanding. It's disrespectful to spit. I don't know where she got it from, but I heard small children will do that. I would have pulled over, took her butt out the car seat, and made her clean up her mess. That's number one. She got to clean up. You're going to spit on the car? No, we're going to clean this up right now. We could go at it. You know what I'm saying? You can shake your kid up a little bit. You could be like, you're going to go do this, pick this up, help them pick it up. You could do that, but not on the side of the road beating your kid down. It's traumatic. I think it would serve it would either shut the child up or shut the child down. And we don't know the mental process that's going through the child's head. But it could also, if the child is just as fiery as you, it could just make the situation get more out of control. I would try to get the child to clean up the mess, redirect, put the child back in the seat, in no way reward that behavior. And if we were going anywhere, like you said, when we were young and we would act up, it didn't matter. We was on our way. If we was at the place, my mom would shut everything down. And we would go back home, take a nap, get on punishment, do whatever the heck we had to do. In her case, she'd be wiping her chore would be wiping that car clean every time she got in.
Because she would
have to know that that's her area. She got to keep it clean. It would just be a learning experience. I'm not beating my kids down nowadays. It's a different type of world.
What about you, Miss Felicia?
Wait a minute, real quick. Marcella, what part of life did she stress in? She was acting up because she couldn't get no gun.
Oh, I'll tell you what she's stressed in. She only 4 to 6 years old, which means she hasn't been on this planet long enough to develop coping mechanisms. It's up to me as a parent to teach her and cultivate her mind so that she can cope. So look, I had bad days in school when I was young. I remember one day I went to the Institute of African Learning. I was the tallest. I was in the back of the class, peed on myself. That's a bad day for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the truck one day going home, because we didn't have buses. We had little vans. Peed on myself, and you know what made it better? Because I wasn't a child that had a bladder problem. I was just the tallest. So I was always in the back of the class. And guys, you see me sucking down water, soda, juice all the time, coffee. I love to drink liquids. It was the same when I was a child. And so my point is, when I got home, I was humiliated because I peed on myself in the van. You're supposed to be a big girl. I was like 4 or 5 years old. So you have memory. But I was more afraid of how my grandmother would react because I felt like a bad girl. So children have the ability to rationalize in their understanding the best they can. With my limited experience, I just thought poorly about myself for it. However, what made it better was when surprisingly, my grandmother, she must have saw me, and she I'm not going to get emotional, but she told me it was okay. So I think that's the type of experience I want to give my children. I want them to know that you can make mistakes and it's okay. I don't want to beat them down because the world is going to beat them down when they're older. I want to redirect them in a loving way, the way I would want to be corrected as an adult, because we make mistakes too. We do the equivalent of what that young lady did in points in our life. I want somebody to come to me with love, apathy, awareness, understanding, and redirect me before they beat me down. Please. Now, if this child is autistic or anything, like I said, have some type of mental disabilities, it requires a whole different set of tools to deal with. I just want to go that route first, unless I just have a child that's belligerent, that's just going to keep doing it, and then we're going to have to figure out some way. But my first go-to is to go that route, and so that's pretty. I almost started crying about the peace story, but yeah.
What about you, Miss Felicia? What about you on your take on this?
So I got
this war.
So I'm gonna say this real quickly because I got a situation over here. Hold on. So sorry, y'all. I'm just not. My stance isn't gonna change on it. I'm gonna stand firm on what I believe in today. And, you ask for our honest opinions and not some generic opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm just not going to beat my kid. I'm not going to sit here and beat her to make her understand that what she did was wrong. That's not the way I communicate, nor is that the way I convey discipline upon my children. Now, you said it, Mr. B, that there are ways and factors that we use to get the child's attention, whether it's to take the instrument from them. Okay, whether it's to take, okay, a second. Whether it's to take the child, the instrument from them, or to put them on punishment, or I like what Marcella said. We're gonna go back home. We're gonna take a nap. You're gonna deal with this. But at the end of the day, you don't get what you want just because you're pouting. You're having a temper tantrum. There will be repercussions of this, but it won't be in the form of beating. You're gonna remember that what you did, you act out. No, we ain't finna go there no more. Wherever we was going, that trip has been officially canceled. We won't be traveling that road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But by the same token, I'd still say we have to learn how to hear our children. We have to learn how to listen to what they're saying to us, how they feel, because some of that acting out, some of that acting out is really them trying to get your attention.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Miss D?
So I agree with Marcella's approach, but for me, it's a little bit different. First of all, they're in the middle of emotional distress, period. They don't know how to handle it. So my first thing is to pull over and get her calm. Just be there and be present with her, put my hand on her, touch her, get her to calm down. I understand you're upset. It's okay to be mad. It's not okay to spit and kick. Breathe. Take a deep breath. Like I'm talking them into their calm, getting her calm, whatever the techniques I'm using to calm her at that moment, I'm getting her calm first. Then we're having a talk. I understand you're upset. I understand you're having big emotions you don't know how to handle. I understand that. And it's okay to be upset, but it's not okay to spit and it's not okay to kick. You've made a mess. And you know what mommy says? You make a mess, you clean a mess. So we're going to clean up this spit now. After you calm down, we're going to clean this up. And after you clean this up, there will be no TV tonight because there are consequences. We've talked about this before. I always tell my kids, keep your bodily fluids to yourself. We talk about this in my house. Keep your bodily fluids to yourself. It's not good hygiene. You can't put your spit in the air. So your consequence is no tablet, no TV, or whatever it may be. No, you can't have gum. And it's okay, you're mad about that, but it's not okay to do what you did. Mommy still loves you, but that behavior is not okay, and I won't tolerate that. So you have consequences for that. Let's clean this mess up, let's calm down, and let's go where we're going. That's pretty much how I'm going to approach it for however long it takes to get there. That's how I approach it.
See, my problem is I didn't hear the fear of God in that joint. Y'all didn't convince me that no child left behind rule, that they don't have the fear of God of their parents. If they did something where it was out of pocket, is what I'm saying, that you don't have this fear, this known factor fear that mommy is going to, like, even if I see the mother kind of flinch, the kid just automatically, starts doing like this. That just makes me know that they had the fear of God, even if they never raised their hand before. I'm telling you.
I don't want my kids flinching at me, man.
I don't want my kids flinching at me. The fear of God is there. Like, I even know I still have the fear of God in my child. Because if I look at her wrong, she like, oh, this man is definitely not happy with me at all. And he's definitely not feeling good about himself right now. No, I'm not feeling good about myself because I'm not feeling good about what you're doing right now. So it's a whole different aspect of how you got it, like the fear of the parent. Like, I know if I was Felicia's child that she not playing. And I know by listening to Michelle's voice that she not playing either. So I know the fear of God. These children have that. You might not think they don't have that, but I know if they did something that was totally outrageous, that they're going to be like, oh my God, I just made a mistake, or they're going to really try to figure that part out. Yeah, yes, Michelle. Yes, Michelle.
Can I? All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Go ahead, Tamale, real quick.
I don't want my kids to have the fear of God. I want my kids to have self-control, coping mechanisms, and compassion.
They got to fear God when they not around you. That my mother, father is gonna do something to me if I do something wrong.
I want my
If
kids
they
to
didn't
have
have
the
that fear of
ability.
God, they'd be out there doing whatever the hell they want.
I want my kids to have the ability to think for themselves and make good decisions for themselves, not be by what's going to happen if my mom sees. No, I'm not,
Yes.
because this is not a good decision, period. And there are consequences for bad
It's
decisions.
just like going out. You expect to have these emotions and all of these feelings, but you ought to legitimately lawyer, their cop, their everything. So they know
Yeah.
the fear. They know the fear not to do the wrong thing. They know not to rob somebody because the fear of what the parent is going to do. If they don't have that fear, they're just going to do what the hell they want. Go ahead, Michelle.
Respectfully.
Okay, so I guess it's 3-2 on this panel. Felicia, are you trying to say something before I go on my spiel?
No, I was just saying you were on mute. Can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's 3-2 in this. I mean, it's me and Mr. B with that tail and everybody else. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree with everything that everybody has said. Okay. So I'm going to put myself out there. I agree. And I'm now that my sons are growing up, I'm learning to talk more to them because I definitely agree with you what you're saying, Damali. However, Mr. B, my sons got the fear of God in them when it comes to me. Unfortunately,
Thank you.
I'm trying to get them out the flinching because once I move, they be like, oh, I'm serious. And that kind of now starting to bother me because I'm like, oh, I think I've been a little bit too rough, but then I don't. It's like a 50-50. Like one time I'm on the stage in the church. I'm on the praise team. I'm singing. And this is the fear of God. I'm singing. And I see my sons cutting up in the pews. And baby, I turned and I caught one of their eyes and I gave them that look. One of the members came to me and said, I ain't seen that in a long time. All I did was give them a look from the stage, me still singing the songs, saying,
Mm-hmm.
you better stop. Or I'm gonna get you after church. And then she saw me mouth when we stopped in the middle of the song. I said, and honey, he sat down because he already knew. I understand the teaching them. I understand the talking to them. But when they keep doing it, when you've done your job and teaching and talking to them, they don't have no stress or distress, in my opinion, when they got everything that they need. Now, if you had a problem at school, I'm going to find out and be like, hey, what's going on? So I agree with you. Talk to them and be like, okay, why are you acting up like this? What's going on? Because you usually don't act up like this. Well, mama, I'll let them speak. Share with me. But when
Mm-hmm.
you just go over there and just haul off and hit your brother because he said something to you and what he said to you wasn't offensive, I'ma snatch and be like, what's up with that? You know? Or you just go start fighting people, yeah, I'ma beat you and then I'ma talk to you. And then let you know again, don't do that mess. If you got a problem, come and talk to me. So my thing is, my sons got the fear of God in them. I understand that. I understand what you're saying, Damali. It ain't about what mommy and daddy would do when they grow up to do something wrong. It's about, hey, mom and dad taught me not to do this. That's what I
Correct.
want them to have a fear of. You had a fear of, God dang it, my mama told me not to do this, and here I am doing it again. It ain't the fact
Mm-hmm.
that they're afraid of me. They're afraid of the fact that they disappointed me because I've taught them all their lives what to do, what not to do. You see what I'm saying? So yes, I'm limiting my beating now because I really did a lot of popping when they was young, and then when they started growing up, talking them back, popping them in their mouth. But when they do something major, I'm gonna whoop their behind. And that little girl, I agree with you, Marcella. Find out why she was doing what she's doing. But if if she has some stuff going on, yes, don't whoop them. But if she didn't have nothing going on during that day, and we in the car, and she said, and she got mad because I wouldn't give her a piece of gum, and I know she had a good day. I'm behind is getting whooped. That's all I gotta say about that. So it depends on how your day goes. If you came from school, you had a rough day, I'ma talk to you. But when I know you had a good day all that day, and you asked me for some gum, and I said no, and you're gonna have a temper tantrum, and you don't have no need to have a temper tantrum, I'm whooping your tail. You're gonna clean up my car, and I'm gonna talk to you, and I'm gonna still ground your butt because I taught you better.
Well, my opinion is just going to be unpopular because I just don't understand how you beat a kid for having an emotion that they don't know how to control.
One, you didn't control
Wait
it
a minute.
to get them to that level.
I'm not talking about a 10, 11, 12-year-old. I'm talking about a 4 or 5-year-old. There's a difference in how you
got them to that level, though.
Those two age ranges.
They're comfortable
right?
with treating you and saying things and acting like they're acting. They're comfortable with that. Yes, they are. They've done it before. That wasn't the only time.
Wait a minute. Damari, one of y'all said I treat my child according to their personality. My 6-year-old, let me just show you. I do that. My 6-year-old started talking at 3. Okay. At 4 years old. So I could judge how I discipline my child based on their personality. Between 4 and 5-year-old, he'll go tell his older brother, because his grandmother said he had an old age, to be such a baby, the way he talked straight sentences and everything. He went and told his older brother, "You better stop that for mommy get you." That told me right then and there, he knew right from wrong. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with you, Damali. Discipline them according to where they at in life and how they think. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But if she knew not to spit, if she had a good day, if she knew not to have a temper tantrum, her butt is mine.
Right. I mean, I'm being honest to y'all. It's just about how the build up. Like, it couldn't have just been automatically, she don't get no gum, this is a Kirk out phase. No. You built that child up to being able to come at you the way that she came. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't all of a sudden she acting out. No. You built her up to have these type of breakdowns that you couldn't handle them in the first place. You wasn't able to handle that situation. It's gonna get worse. It ain't gonna get better. That situation ain't gonna get better if you just let it keep festering the way she did it, the way she turned on her video camera. I'm pretty sure the next day it was all the same.
I think all of us agree, the spankers and non-spankers all agree that her approach was totally wrong.
Okay.
But record and say, "You're not getting gum, you're going to bed." That's not effective at all. She's not addressing the emotional distress. She's not addressing the specific things she's doing. So yeah, we're not saying I as attempting to be non-spanker, I'm not saying I can do anything. I'm saying that I'm not going to record and just talk. I'm going to do what I feel like I need to calm them down and make them understand, right? And I disagree with you on you're setting an environment where they're comfortable. There are plenty of kids who get spankings regularly who still have tantrums. Tantrums are a natural part of the child's process. Even if you have a perfect child, your perfect child will throw a tantrum. It's normal for kids to have tantrums at that age. It just is. And I think we just got to learn how to do better to address that.
Well, that didn't show me that she knew how to handle it. All right. I would let that fester and move on a little bit. Now I want to ask Marcella this golden question that most people don't ask, but can you give me 3 different ways that you could tell a person is lying to you or not? Are you on mute? I definitely got to hear what you guys say.
You go by gut feelings. There's some typical ways you could tell. Most people will cut their eye over to the left or the right. So There's some physical cues that a straight up liar will give you. If you know them, you can look out for them. I also go with gut feeling. Sometimes you just know when people are lying. And then I go with history. Do they have a history of lying? Then more likely if they're habitual lying and they lying right now. That's the 3 things that those are the 3 tools, I get, what the heck? Let me think. I haven't had lunch, excuse me. Those are the 3 techniques that I would use. But the gut feeling is best.
So you go with your gut feeling on whether this person is lying to you or not.
Yeah, street smart, common sense stuff don't add up. It's hard to remember a lie than it is to remember the truth. If they're habitual lying, more than likely they lying to me every day. So I have to
Oh
assume that.
wow, so they like a
And then if
born
they
lie.
give it physical cues, if their eyes are cutting, even with children, we're talking about children, you can tell with the physical cues, sweaty palms. It's things you could do to tell. For the most part, I like to assume that people is telling the truth, but sometimes, they leave clues that they're lying through their teeth.
Wow. What are three different
Okay.
ways of people lying to you, Michelle? Three different ways you could tell somebody's lying to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I had to go log my child back into his virtual classroom. Oh, and I got a testimony. He was saying, "Mommy, I don't want to go to school," and I almost reached for him. Then I said, "Baby, why you don't want to go to school?" Because and then I said, "Well, come talk to mommy." See, I'm doing what y'all say. Come talk to mommy. Come talk to mommy. Yeah, the mommy, whatever. Anywho, I really want to go whoop him, but I'm just saying, I made sure I found out. He said, "Cuz I just don't want to go to school." I said, "Boo boo, you want to be stupid?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, so you won't be stupid. You got to go to school and learn." Okay, mommy. So there y'all go. Anywho, so
Great
I
job,
don't think
Michelle. He is in
ever.
school without a spanking. Good job.
No, I want to go give him a spanking anyway. I listen, hands down, regardless if y'all believe I give spankings all the time. Yeah, I used to. But then I started learning. I don't believe a child should be spanked for everything. Like I said, I totally agree. You need to talk and find out what's going on, especially if you know something was going on before and you know they just acting out. But the three ways I know people are lying to me, they can't look you in the eye.
Okay.
That's one. Um, they keep repeating themselves the same thing over and over again, trying to make you believe what they saying is true. That's two. And they walk away and get mad if you don't, if they feel like you don't believe them or you accept, like, man, you just not hearing me. Something like that. Those type of response. Oh, did you hear me? It's just the way they respond and act. But definitely when they don't look you in the eye. What was my second one? I forgot that quick because I got so much going on in my mind right now. What was my second one? Huh?
You had a lot of them.
You said eye contact.
Eye
No,
contact.
definitely when they don't look you in the eye is the way they respond to you. Oh, when they repeat themselves. When they trying
Okay.
to prove and repeat themselves, point to make you believe that that's what they did or they didn't do it. And then the last one was if they just get upset because they feel like you're not believing them. And they lying because that's why you acting the way you acting. Force
Okay.
them.
What about you, Miss Felicia? What are three different ways that you could tell somebody lying to you?
I Marcella, what's the word you call yourself? The
Oh, the
sympathizer.
sympathizer?
Sympathizer. I'm more sympathetic with people when it comes to them, I guess, proving themselves to me. I found that you just gotta let people be who they are. Eventually, you're gonna know the truth, right? You're gonna find out if they are a habitual liar or if they just lied for one situation or circumstance to get themselves out or make themselves look good or whatever the case may be, right? I just kind of believe in giving people a chance. And so for me, I don't just go around case study. And I know that's not what you're asking, but I'm not trying to just case study people to say, oh, you lying, are you telling the truth? I just think that a lot of times if we watch people, if you allow them to speak long enough, you're going to know. You're going to really know their characteristics and who they are. And then also, I've learned to just fact check. I'm just that kind of person. Like, fact check. Like we talked about, by the way, y'all, we talked about DMX yesterday. He has died as of just this morning.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Just announced it.
Yeah, I just got it. You didn't hear that ding? That
Yes.
was my news thing saying that he passed.
Yeah, so I'm a fact checker. Like I know people that deliberately will tell somebody something because they know they're going to believe what they say. In fact, I have two people in my world that I watch them. I'm like, you don't know that girl lying to you. You just sitting there letting her lie to you like that, and you don't even really realize that she's doing it. I'm a fact checker. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna triple check. I'm like, you just told a flat out lie. but I don't know other than those two things for me. Just let people talk. Let them be who they are. Watch their characteristics. Watch how they carry themselves in the sense of being who they are. Because there's a difference between a habitual liar and somebody just, oh, they lied just to fend themselves out of trouble. That's totally different. But I just think that fact check and watch people, watch their character, watch who they are, watch what they do, watch who they say. Um, I'm not going to be walking around here trying to figure out if you're a liar. You've been lying for the rest of all your life. It's gonna come up. It's gonna come up. What's in a person is gonna come out of them. You can best believe that.
Okay. What about you, Miss D?
I'm more along the lines with Miss Felicia. Personally, I don't have really great intuition when it comes to reading people because I'm more of a benefit of the doubter anyway. I always believe in the good in people until they show me the bad. So when it comes to if I have to kind of be in a place where I need to discern your character, I just ask for it to be revealed to me and leave it at that, and then just let things flow. And the truth always comes out eventually. So that's how I do it. I just trust spirit. I trust the universe to reveal.
Now I am kind of like an expert on trying to catch lies. Like I found myself really trying to find that in other people, but when it comes to like me getting jobs and everything, I can tell whether I got the job that day, that minute, that moment, or whether I'm gonna have to go look for another one. I kind of like already know, depending on how your demeanor is on the first thing that comes out your mouth will let me know whether you're trying to be confident, whether you're trying to be real with me, or whether you just definitely trying to move me on for the next person you're trying to encounter with. So I actually have grown myself accustomed to seeing what you have to say first of all. Like first of all, when you come up to me, how you going, what your approach is, that definitely lets me know whether you're gonna lie to me or not. It's like, I can kind of tell whether the girl even has another man. Like I can honestly kind of tell. Like I can tell the whole scenery, her mannerisms, all about it. Just tells me exactly what I'm going about to deal with. Whether I'm going to deal with somebody that's really being honest and truthful with themselves, or whether I'm just going to really have to change my approach on how I'm gonna have a conversation with her. So, or with him. It all depends on what type of person I'm dealing with on the lying aspect of how things go. So that's I'm asking you these questions because I need to know if somebody is going to if you whether you're going to find out whether this person's a liar or if they're a genuine person. So how many ways can you tell me that you can know that this person is a genuine person or whether they just outright lying to me? So, Miss Felicia, I'm gonna ask you first. What do you think on general talks on how can you tell this person is generally being a genuine person or they just lying, just flat out lying?
So again, I think characteristics is everything. Integrity, character. People, we have swayed away from so much in society today. We judge people wrongly, we accuse them wrongly, we murder them wrongly. All of that has happened in society. But I really think that if we step back and allow people's character to speak for them, let's take, well, never mind. I don't even want to go there. I think the reality is a lot of times we tend to overlook, and we talked about this on one of our shows, right? We tend to overlook the red flags in people. We tend to overlook
Okay.
those warning signs that we get so many times with a person, and because
Uh-huh.
our flesh want it, or because whatever motives are behind it, I want it. We don't tend to obey those signs. And 6 months down the road, you're now into something, whether it be a relationship, friendship, whatever. You're into something that if you had to just adhere to those signs in the beginning, you wouldn't even be experiencing half of the disappointments and the setbacks and the letdowns from that person, because you would have accepted their character and who they are. So I think that for me, what I'm learning in life is to just, again, I don't have the power to change anybody, but I have the ability and the power to change me. And so I allow people to be who they are in my world, But once I know who you are, then I put you in those categories. Unfortunately, that's just me. Okay, you don't tell the truth, so you my untruthful category friends. You know.
Wow, you got categories of friends, untruthful category of friends.
That's the category. Trust me, you gotta learn how to put people.
I didn't know that's a category. You got categories and how. So let me explain to me your friend category. Your friends category is you have categories of friends where you have a bunch of friends that lie to you, and then you have a category of friends that just. What do you mean?
Come on, let's be mature about it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if people show me who they are, then I know how to deal with you. I know you eventually gonna tell a lie somewhere down this road, and so you are in that category of I just can't trust what you say. So I don't put a lot of stock into you, and I hate to say it, our friendship, if that's the case, because I would rather somebody just be upfront and honest with me. I would rather you tell me the truth. Felicia, I don't like that red blouse you got on. Oh, okay. I respect that. Then to smile in my face and say, girl, I like that red blouse you got on, and then turn around and tell everybody behind my back you don't like the red blouse I got on. So it's just that for me. Like I know how to deal with people today in the sense that I know what category to put them in. Now I believe in giving people fair chances. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to just, you go in this category, you go in this one, but I'm just talking about my relationships with people. I know today how to deal with people on the levels of where they are.
Okay. What about you, Miss D? What about you? What is your take on how people lie? How can you really? I'm really astonished by what she said on that.
After I've been around them for a little bit, I can feel their energy a bit more. I'm really bad with first time meeting people on reading them, but after I've been around a couple times, you can kind of see their patterns and how they behave. And then they just I can't explain it. It's just their energy becomes a little more clear, and I can really kind of feel a little better like where they are.
So you really can't tell whether a person is really lying to you at the beginning of your phase of meeting them, but getting to know them.
I can at the first meeting, but over time I can feel it.
So man, you can't go to a job and tell yourself you're gonna get that job or not by what that person is saying to you. Trust me, you should be able to know.
Well, typically first of all, I haven't really interviewed for very many jobs. So I haven't been in that position. No, really, I've gotten everything through networking and connections. So I don't.
Okay.
I've only interviewed truly one time in my life for a job. So
okay.
So yeah, I can't respond to that. But no, I can't. When I first meet someone, if I'm just interacting with you, I don't know anything about you. It's hard for me to read you. I cannot read you. But after I've been around you a couple times and see how you interact with other people and how you respond to certain things, then I can kind of, like Felicia said, categorize you to, yeah, you're going to be an associate, or nah, we not, let's cut this off now. We can't even be associated or, whatever it is. But it takes a little time for me. It's not an automatic thing for me.
Okay. What about you?
And because of that, I have been scammed. Because I can't people, it's hard for me.
So you've been scammed a couple times just because you wasn't paying attention to their signs.
Yeah,
what about you, Marcella? What about you on this lying factor? How can you tell whether this person is just lying to you? Just automatically just lying. You just lie.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much the techniques I used before, and I'm going to piggyback off of everybody. I mean, being around people you kind of know because some people are very convincing, and they're professional liars. If you have nefarious intent, if you're a sociopath, sometimes you believe your lies. I know I have a family member that's been lying since we've been little kids. Everybody know it. This is what she do. And so some people really do believe their own lies. Okay. I've lied. Nobody's perfect. I'm not even going to say I haven't lied. Do I make a habit of it? No. But, why do people lie? That's the question. Why would somebody feel compelled, if you otherwise don't see them as a liar, to lie to you? I stick by what I said earlier. I just kind of observe, get to know the person, gut check myself, common sense. Is the information adding up? What is their body language telling me? What type of history do I have with them? We already talked about last night in relationships how men, would tend to lie to get what they want to get. Everybody have their reasons for lying. You know, I can't say anymore. No judgment on the person. People will lie. We will lie sometimes. Sometimes they have good reasons. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just like lying. Sometimes they just want you. They want to influence the way you think and behave. I'm gonna watch them like a hawk.
Can I
Well,
say something? I think you couldn't have said it any better, Marcella. We lie too. Like we put
Yeah,
these stipulations on people. Oh my God, they lied to us. But you yourself is the biggest liar on the face of earth, right? So we have to not so much gut check and fact check
yeah,
everybody
no,
else. Sometimes you got to gut check and fact check yourself, right? You
yeah,
have to be real to your own self and be true to yourself and be like, hey, I need to get that under control. I'm not telling truth when it comes to things, and I need to step back and reevaluate myself and figure out why am I doing that? Because a lot of times when we are so busy pointing the fingers at other people, we forget to deal with our own selves. But I really appreciate what you said, Marcella, because sometimes we don't. I mean, I'm not a habitual liar. I ain't got to lie about nothing. Y'all pretty much know me. I'm gonna speak the truth. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. I'm gonna say it, and I'm learning to say it with tact. But at the end of the day, it's just reality. We all have to be honest with ourselves when it comes to speaking truth, and I think that's what's going to help us as a community, as a race, as a nationality. We just got to learn how to deal with people in truth.
okay. Well, as this unpopular opinion comes and goes. I am Mr. Stradivari, Mr. B. I have a music business and I am a music artist. I am famously known for making children very talented. I have a virtual school which is called Mr. B's Music and Arts, and I'm just here to build children up and make them as talented as possible, giving them the opportunity to build themselves and make themselves stronger, and just give them the opportunity that they can choose and be whatever they would like to be, no matter whether it's in music or in sports. I'm here to build their minds and make them healthy children to be great people and talented musicians. At this point in time, I would like to say thank you. And go ahead, Mr. Molly, and tell them a little bit about yourself and your business.
Hey y'all, I'm Damali. You can find me on the internet at Journey with Damali on social media, as well as I work with the nonprofit. Excuse me, that's Journey with Damali, my first name, and then I also work with a nonprofit organization called Our African Family in Houston, Texas, which serves the underserved community of Fifth Ward. So check us out on Our African Family with the K.org. OurAfricanFamily.org.
Oh, what about you, Miss Felicia over there?
I am Felicia Jones, and I'm the owner of Smart Scholars Academy and Smart Scholars Foundation. In fact, I'm actually in my daycare right now today working, so y'all see all of the movement and all going in the background. But either or, I own a daycare here in Rochelle, Texas, and we have a nonprofit, Smart Scholars Foundation, whereby we go in and we support and provide the resources to youth and children that are having issues and struggles in life. We support them financially. We support them by any means necessary, and we get the community involved in doing that. So if you would like to connect with me, you can reach us on Smart Scholars Foundation, Smart Scholars Academy, or Felicia Jones on social media.
And Miss Michelle?
Greetings, everyone. Michelle Black here with the Kingdoms Group, where it consists of Kingdom Travels LLC and Kingdom Administrative Services. And we are a business concierge service company that provides assistance to all corporations, business owners, entrepreneurs. We handle your back office, whatever admin needs you have for your business, and also handle all your travel service needs, along with business travel, personal travel, seminars, setting up your seminars, workshops, meetings, book tours, and even conferences. Yes, we are your business concierge service, providing you first class. You can reach us at 346-917-0048 extension 1, or you can email us at info@kas-llc.com. And our website will be updated, so you can go to www.thekingdomsgroup, kingdoms with an S.com, and it will be updated by April 15th. Be blessed, everybody.
And last but not least, my go-getter,
Oh, yeah.
Miss Marcella. Go ahead.
AKA the sympathizer. Hey, this is Marcella, CEO of Rubric LLC, where we help you create winning strategies to increase your impact and profits. We do this through strategic development planning, programming, also professional speaking. If you need a strategic plan for your profession, if you need a strategic plan for your business, if you need a one-page snapshot for trading, as you know, in this market, a lot of stocks and other financial packages have been rallying up. So if you need to know how you should manage that, email me at info@erubric.com, as you can see below the screen. Info@erubric. I need some lunch.com. Look, I'm about to pass out. Thank you.
All right, all right. Well, once again, this is our unpopular opinion, and today was a very quick topics on behavior of children, but also 3 different ways on you could tell somebody is basically lying to you. Now, I'm going to revisit this one question again on how somebody's actually been lying to you, so you can actually adjust on trying to tell whether this person is really lying to you. I don't want you to overemphasize what I'm saying to you, but I do want you to adjust. I want you to adjust how you feeling about things on an everyday basis on when people are talking to you, whether they're giving you this elaborate story or whether you just need to see why they actually trying to lie to you to get what they want. These are the main points and reasons of why I'm bringing this subject to you. So this subject is going to be asked again of, has anybody lied to you today? Or has anybody told you something that you wanted to hear? And technically, when you're looking for love, you're trying to listen for things that technically you're like, hold up, red flag, something this person has said to you that really caught you to say, are they really lying to me to get what they really want? So you have to look at these perceptions on what is a person that's lying to you and how are they building themselves off of who you are and what is the reasons of them lying to you? Why are they even giving you that type of energy and not being truthful and right to you? So I'm building these things to give y'all a topic to understand this is a part of your everyday life and seeing whether a person is being genuine or real to you. And I really, really do want to know your unpopular opinion on that subject. So I say I bid you adieu, and I would say good day to you, ladies. And I hope that you have this wonderful and elaborate weekend. But don't forget that Mr. B is saying if somebody's speaking to you or just breaking into your circle, to see what they got to say, whether they might be lying to you or not. And I will say, good day, ladies. Good day.
Good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.